Hello and welcome to a very serious episode of Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. I experienced a harrowing event this morning as I was preparing my back bacon, Canadian bacon for all you Americans out there. My freshly cleaned pan was introduced with the fat from the back bacon, and there was still a little bit of water in it. What happened next can only be described as an act of ghoulish vengeance as the fat of that slaughtered hog reached back into our mortal world and took one last lick at the champions of the food chain. As that blistering suet leapt towards my supple visage, I could see the devil smiling at me. It connected, scorching my face instantly. The doctors say I experienced first-degree burns. Now, some may say, that that's the equivalent of a mild sunburn. But I know true pain. And having gone through this, I've now glimpsed what hell itself has in store for me when I depart this world. I put this mask on to encapsulate my pain. Keep it contained within this thin veil of fabric to protect you, the viewers, from the hideousness of my astonishing agony.
I thought you were going to go for another 5 minutes here.
Yeah, I could have. The pain I experienced is unspeakable.
Can we talk about your commitment to the bit by making holes and not cutting or washing out the lines of the holes?
It's also an old pair of underwear.
Oh, so it was the same thing with Randy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's immediately what popped into my head.
Now here's the thing. I don't get to listen to you do the irregular intro, so I really need to know this right now. I can't hear the intro song. Did the intro song run when you did this? Oh,
No. It did when I was hello and welcome to a very serious episode.
Oh, okay. I kind of wish it had ran the whole 15 seconds.
Just kept looping it over and over again. Yeah. Well, then I would have had to time everything out. Yeah, that's too much work.
Good God, that's commitment.
Yeah, well, you got a gray pair of underpants, and Randy Orton puts a gray pair of underpants on his face and gets real Phantom of the Opera vibes over his mild sunburn level burns. You gotta rip on him.
First degree burns.
Why would they? It's nothing. That's nothing.
And for first degree burns, maybe they deserve first degree tips. So go over to streamlabs.com/Tim and Joel Pod. Show Tim some love for maybe some new underwear, because it looks like he might need it after that bit.
No, I got a whole plan for these one, right? You got that nose hole, you can have some fun. A couple little holes in the bottom.
Halloween will not come soon enough.
You weren't thrown as much. I didn't tell you at all what I was gonna do, and then you didn't miss a beat. That was weird.
Yeah, believe me, it takes a lot to throw me.
Apparently. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay, let's do it. Wait, you do the intro. You do the regular intro. Otherwise,
what regular intro? We talk about wrestling. I'm gonna take this sweater off because it's too hot. It's too
wonderful.
Hot. And it's as hot as Randy Orton's bloody face up in here.
All right, let's get right to it. You can like the video. You can subscribe to the channel. It's youtube.com/Tim and Joel Pod. We're everywhere at Tim and Joel Pod if you haven't figured it out. And by the way, because I do it every week, this Saturday at 2 p.m., which is a nice change from the 11 p.m. start times I've been used to, I will be gaming with Fightful Gaming over at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. And maybe playing Among Us with the Fightful family at 9 o'clock after this stream ends at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. We're waiting to see if there's confirmation. But you know what we don't need confirmation for, Tim?
What?
Alexa's big night.
Yeah, because it already happened. You don't need confirmation of past events, sir.
Good point. So let's
Yeah.
talk about it. So we all watched Raw. We all got through it. The playground segment was weird, right? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, no more weird than it has been. Like, you know.
It opens up and Alexa's kind of saying, "Everyone is with me tonight. Everyone."
Yeah, I didn't
And then we
clock
have
that at first. Didn't clock it at first, but
yeah,
yeah,
more fire puns, of course.
of course.
That's what we're here for.
Hate it.
And Asuka comes out and she starts dancing just because, you know, and Alexa freaking out, which was nice. I kind of liked it when she said, "Oh, the Fiend, don't say his name." But my question to you,
she
Tim,
sat on his ghost.
that's right, tried to sit on his ghost,
Yeah.
tried to rock his horse. And really, here's what I want to know. Tim, why was Asuka afraid?
I don't know. It seemed very uncharacteristic. She's not good at keeping it chill. That's for sure. Learned that.
Probably one of the most dominant, fearless wrestlers on the entire WWE roster, at least on the women's side of things. And suddenly is scared of Alexa, the deranged poltergeist child.
Superstition, you know, like you can be fearless in the face of mortals, but when you're dealing with the supernatural, it can shake some people, you know. I know people who love like slasher horror, but they can't watch anything about the devil or spooky ghosties. So maybe something like that.
I mean, Spooky Ghosties was kind of how their match went afterwards, right? It was kind of equally weird.
Yeah, it was something. It was they did a wrestle, and then like, yeah, I don't know. The transformation was especially hilarious because it was like, oh no, she's like a mildly gothy girl. We better whisper or she'll turn us into mildly gothy girls.
So actually, I kind of love that they're using the Thunderdome to create that aesthetic and to do a little bit of editing here and there. This one, nah, not so much for me.
Give her a mask. Just give her a damn mask. Like
we've been saying it's in SummerSlam.
Like that's like the transformation can't just be switch t-shirts and put on some lipstick. Like just give her a mask. But you know, I don't know. Pretty girl ratings, I guess. That's the thing.
I still think we're building to a mask, or maybe I've just gotten to the point where I'm hoping for a mask. But regardless, there's a lot of cinematic work that can be done, and they're taking advantage of it in the Thunderdome, and I don't hate that. As long as you can give me the Girl Fiend by, let's say, the Rumble, and again, every single pay-per-view we get to, it's like, give me the Girl Fiend, give me the Girl Fiend, give me the Girl Fiend.
And I don't mind the slow burn, but now I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous that they're gonna pull something in the Rumble. You know where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't hate it though.
You don't hate it? Them both winning the Rumble? You don't hate that? I hate that.
Only because, okay, I don't want them both to win the Rumble for the title aspect. I want them both to win the Rumble because they can be a dominant force, and I still think that a Raw wrestler is going to win the men's Royal Rumble. Yeah. For the women's Royal Rumble, I still think it's going to be a SmackDown wrestler.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind Alexa winning it. I don't want to see the Fiend in the title picture again, but we know that's where it's going.
Quite honestly, I would have preferred to see Asuka and Alexa have their match at the Rumble instead of having having Alexa in the Rumble. But I could also see these two going at it at WrestleMania. Maybe you have the big Alexa reveal going into Mania, and Asuka has that old school Kana when she was a part of Joshi wrestling in Japan. And she would paint her face, and it would be different like ghosts and different lore. As long as she's not the Nazi Kana, that one wasn't really big with me. There's a weird thing about the Japanese culture and Nazi symbolism. I don't know where it came from.
I mean, you don't know where it came from.
You know what I mean. I don't know where it became okay. I know where it came from.
I mean, you know,
my people very much know where it came from.
A little bit of history.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it could be really good too. I don't want to poo-poo it too quickly. It's just the Fiends in the title picture is scary to me. But done right, it could be very good. It would be better if they hadn't ruined Bray with the Goldberg stuff and all that. But
yeah, and with the Goldberg stuff, now we're almost a year past from that, so I can move past it. Now Goldberg is, of course, in another title match going into the Rumble. Everyone is just kind of crossing their fingers real tight and just saying, please, please, please don't let him win.
So I think putting the Miz in the mix is how they're getting around that. Goldberg's going to somehow like beat up or beat The Miz, but he's not going to get the championship. That's my guess. So
Okay.
Goldberg still gets to look strong because The Miz is there as a violence absorber. But we still get to see Drew retain.
Okay, so one thing, so we'll get right to it. You know, seeing first of all, Gilbert on the dirt sheet was
So
absolutely
good.
wonderful.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be Gilbert too. What I didn't expect was for them to bring out bloody like Brew McIntyre out there.
Who, by the way, is another fairly well-known actor who I'm sure someone will tell me in the chat because I forget his name right off the top of my head. And everyone was like, no, it's not him. It can't be him. And like, no, it was him.
It was
that
very
actor.
funny. That got me. I popped me. I was popped.
Oh, look at you using them insider terms.
Yeah,
But Gilbert coming out and saying, I bashed my head into a wall because I'm so pumped up. I breathe smoke out my nose and fire out my ass.
It was so good. Oh man. Like I did not expect it. I actually thought he had died not that long ago. Like
so he did have a heart attack at the end of
that's
October,
what it was.
November.
Okay, so he survived that.
Yes, thankfully so. Because you know what? Gilbert's a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
And just for him to come back and get a paycheck every single time Goldberg shows up on WWE TV, take it. That is like the only good thing that comes with a Goldberg return.
It was great. That was so good. Love that whole segment. Minus
course,
the correct, as we've discussed before. I'm kind of tired of that bit.
But you know what saved it? Of all the things, then the line that he says afterwards where he says, I'm the Miz and I'm next.
Yeah, right?
I was like, oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
You know, and then Tom afterwards being like, I wish Goldberg would spear the Miz. Like, you might get your wish,
He's
friend.
definitely going to spear the Miz.
And then, of course, when that Drew makeup came out, whatever his name was,
it was Drew McIntyre. I'm calling him Brew McIntyre because he clearly loves a few of the brewskis.
Yes, to the point where Samoa Joe says Drew might be carbo loading for the Royal Rumble, and that's the clayless.
Yeah, the clayless. Yeah. And Drew later on was just like with a body like a melted candle.
Oh, loved it. Speaking of melted candles, we had the opening with that 8-minute soliloquy from Randy Orton on a fiery promo, my friend.
I think we know my feelings about that.
I said it in my notes. First degree burns the heel in 7 to 10 days. So what are we doing here?
It's literally a mild sunburn.
It's like someone said, "Oh no, first degree, that's the bad one."
No. It's nothing. It's a boo-boo.
Oh, breaking news. The internet's been fixed at Jeremy Lambert's house and we'll be playing Among Us tonight.
Cool. I'll bring my mask.
What I will say, when Randy cares, Randy goes hard. Okay?
Maybe too hard on this one.
Maybe too hard. He gets a little burnt up, a little fired up,
They had the little makeup on his like nose too. It was just silly. It was so silly.
What I didn't hate was actually that they didn't do the typical story recap where they go back and like last week on Raw and they play the music and they do the whole recap video package.
No, they still did
Randy
a recap
as a vessel. Yeah, but they use Randy as a vessel to tell the story. And I'd rather they do that and give him something to talk about or something to say and then not bring him out for the rest of the night. Like he was there pre-taped and then that was it. I was more than happy to just say that's a wrap on Randy, declare for the Rumble in a more interesting way. And now I just wonder what happens to Edge when he comes back. Maybe Edge isn't coming back in time. Maybe Edge is coming back and he's going to cost this whole Fiend situation or add to it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Randy Orton and the Fiend and the Miz and the Goldberg and the Drew. Basically what I'm saying is while Raw wasn't great, you have these moments in time that kind of sit back and you're like, okay, it was good. It's just filling 3 hours is a plod and it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Like there was 2 hours worth of good show there this week, I think. It's just the problem is they have 3 and they eat up a decent chunk of it doing recaps too. Both shows, even SmackDown had a lot of recap content this week. But it was just it's still not enough, and they shove in what's his name and Jeff Hardy, Jackson Galaxy or whatever.
Yes, Jack Action.
Jack Action.
Jackson
Riker.
Garbage face.
Jackson Galaxy's the cat guy, that weird cat guy. That's who that.
Jack Action is our best friend Chris Jericho's original wrestler name when he wanted to start in the business.
That's a terrible name.
Yes, don't worry. I'm sure he's told everyone about that too. And we'll tell you a little bit about us. You can find us over everywhere at timandjoelpod.com. Okay. Okay. Like the
Okay.
video, the subscribe thing. Hello to everybody in our live chat. I hope you're doing well. PW Unlimited is another place where you'll find us every single week talking about the week in wrestling. And we don't actually talk about this on PW Unlimited. So a little bit of fun content for you. Impact Tuesday. Holy crap. What happened?
Like
It was
what
great.
occurred?
It was great.
It was pretty good. It was pretty
At
good.
first-
It's dragging a little bit for me. Honestly, the AEW and Impact crossover stuff for me is making it not as engaging.
Okay. I can agree with you there.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with the Kenny Omega stuff in the story.
Same.
The Good Brother stuff, fine. Okay, fine. But then Matt Hardy and Private Party appeared. And suddenly we're in a different zone for me.
Yeah, and that was good.
Well, so for those who didn't see it, Matt Hardy, Private Party, they come out, they challenge Sabin and Storm to a match, and the winners would take on the Good Brothers, and then Private Party win. And next thing you know, we're at No Surrender, which was announced today that it would happen on February 13th on Impact Plus. And the main event for that show are the Good Brothers defending their Impact Tag Team titles against Private Party, which is awesome because you know what this gives me? Evolve vibes when the Street Profits were trying to get their way in NXT. And I hate the Private Party Street Profits connections that people try to make, but this is one that I actually feel is right because Private Party's been trying to find their way in Impact. They're trying to find their way in the tag team division there. Remember when AEW started, they got that big upset win over the Young Bucks. And so they haven't really found it. It was the same way that they brought in Street Profits to NXT, had a good start, then they kind of floundered. Then they sent them to Evolve. And when they sent them down to Evolve, they won the Evolve Tag Team Championships. And then they started really becoming more dominant. They found their step. They found their swagger. They learned a ton, and they came back, became tag champs in NXT, and then went on to win, obviously, on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful feeling to have when you can come in and maybe win the Impact Tag Team Championships. And yeah, it'll feel like a stepping stone to eventually hit the AEW Tag Team Championships. Yeah,
and like there was a lot of really good stuff in there. I've mentioned a few times before that Matt's been giving me like gimmick whiplash. And when he first started doing this one, it was grating a little bit to me, but it's starting to grow on me, especially now that Private Party has embraced it a bit more. I didn't like the whole infighting garbage. It's just like, well, just fire him. Like, what are you doing? But now they've embraced his ways, and kind of what the final, like, yeah, I'm into this now, was the ad they ran on Impact this week, where Tony Khan was like, look, you want to I need to out Carney you. I can't. I'm a good person. I'm not a Carney. And it's like, but Matt Hardy's a greedy Carney. He's going to out Carney you. Like, I wish I could do the bit with the $100 bill, but let's face it, we aren't carrying cash money anymore. No, I haven't. Pull out I've had $20 in my wallet unspent for nearly a year now. It's just sitting there. Perfect. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like you said, Private Party last night on Dynamite ended up basically turning. Yep. And they're joining. The Hardy system is working. So I'm a big fan of it. I'm really enjoying the fact that the Impact crossover is not going to be limited to just the elites or just Kenny Omega or just the Bullet Club alumni. Which is what we were really, really curious about. So it is good to see that is starting to happen. A little bit of bleed in. It was good to see Tony and Jerry in the mix there too. Jerry Lynn was a very big part of NWA TNA when it first started. So I was happy to see Jerry Lynn, yeah, especially when he got involved in that tag team match. Yeah, it was awesome. It's good. You know what else was really awesome? Taya Valkyrie shot Johnny Bravo. Yeah, that was great. It worked out well. I was like, yeah. That's a wrap on Taya Valkyrie in Impact. And you know what? For the amount of time she spent there and the dominance she had as the Knockouts champion, I think she was really, really good. And, I think she's ready to move on to the next step and do what she does next. So she's been arrested. I guess after that jail sentence, that's where she'll go. And of course, according to Tommy Dreamer, if she's lucky, she'll go to Jacksonville State Prison. But for what she did, I think they're going to send her to Stanford Maximum Penitentiary for 2 years with an option for 3. Trust me, that'll change a person's soul forever. Did he look that up? Did he look up sentencing? Because if that's anywhere near true, that feels light as hell. Like, you get serious shit when you actually kill someone, but if you try, it's kind of a slap on the wrist. Grand scheme.
I'd assume murder in Florida is kind of like a misdemeanor. They don't really do much there.
Like, Florida.
It's an everyday thing. And AC Romero, by the way, not lost on me, saying, I hope they don't send her to Baltimore.
Yeah.
The Baltimore bubble, if you will. But the whole segment, the goodbye segment, was really good. I liked that she got to say goodbye on screen to her best friend, Rosemary. It was really nice, and it just felt like a nice way to wrap up Taya Valkyrie's time in Impact.
Yeah, and the Rosemary Crazy Steve thing that she's transitioned to feels more like a better fit on camera. So I'm glad that they've landed in good places.
And it's a rehash of Decay, which is what they were doing years ago. So why not? I'm happy to see Crazy Steve not just carry around a monkey and be pals with random people, Yeah,
exactly.
So where does Taya go next?
You want to see her in the Rumble? WWE, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing her. You know what? You can introduce her the easiest way. Have her be Johnny Morrison's wife, Taya, who happens to be a wrestler. She has clout. She has the ability. Obviously, she can go in. I heard some people talk about doing like a Ms. Maurice, Johnny and Taya thing where like Taya kind of Total Bellas, but much more obnoxious.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into it. Yeah. I don't love it, but I'm kind of into it.
I mean, if they put it on one of the main programs, I'll watch it.
Well, we'll see. And for those wondering, Taya's the segment was actually taped after Hard to Kill on Saturday and not at the TV tapings that occurred that weekend. Taya had left by the end of Hard to Kill. So there it is. Speaking of Hard to Kill, I don't know if you watched the entire show, Tim, but Moose kind of stole the show.
Yeah, I know. I don't. I'm flabbergasted. I'm still a little weirded out by all the decisions, but it worked. It got them to Rich Swann versus Moose, which I think is going to be really, really excellent. So, and he did a damn good job. Damn, like it was a great match.
People weren't really happy with Moose replacing Alex Shelley. I get it, especially because it's weird and it was unexpected. At the same time, if you're going to have someone replace anyone in that main event, it should be the guy who's also working towards the top of the Impact World Championship. And like the week before had just gotten himself a World Championship opportunity. Cool. Why not? But he went nuts and he had the performance of a lifetime, probably a breakout for Moose, who has had it in him for a long time. And when he was in Ring of Honor, everyone was like, oh my God, this guy's got it. Got a little lazy in Impact when he started, got to that point. I had seen him live and I was like, it was no longer Moose. It was like Miss. So it's nice to see him kind of call it up.
Return to form. Yeah.
Return to form. Exactly. He beats the crap out of Rich Swann afterwards, after the show. And it was funny as hell because I'm just like, okay, now we're going to move forward and get there. And the match should happen at Rebellion, but it'll probably happen at No Surrender.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. And then we'll get Moose or Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega.
Honestly, I think I'd rather see Moose Kenny. Like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, that would be my preference. So
Big man versus little man?
Yeah, do the one-winged angel to him.
Yeah. Seeing people in the chat saying Moose bringing his football background into it and talking about how former teammates may not have gotten along, but we did it for a common goal. Really into that. That was a really good touch for that.
No, it was like, I told you I'd be the best damn partner you'd ever have. He comes out, he is. Then he whoops his ass. It's fair.
I love it. And then that backstage segment, he just like walks up and just flips out on Rich Swann, just rams him into the door.
It's great. You know what? I'm fine. I find Rich Swann corny, so I don't. Any chance I get to see him get his ass whooped by Moose, I'm here for.
That's fine. And if you want to show some ass whoop love for us, you can like this video and you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and we would appreciate it, and we'd love you forever. Well, last night AEW was on. It was a clunky show, Tim.
Yeah, and I watched that one live. I had NXT in the background, and I wanted to, like, there were moments that I really enjoyed, but a lot of odd things happened. I found, like, just kind of awkward, strange transitions.
Very much so. So, I mean, at the top of the show, doing the opening segment with -1's birthday, very cute. I enjoyed it. Throwing the papers and saying, my birthday was 3 days ago. I liked it. It was a good match.
Chaos Projects. I Hate Children promo.
Yes,
and also TH2 is here. who have to come out to that. And I think like that was a pretty good match, like especially the ending flurry there with Reynolds, Silver, and Hangman. I thought that went really well. And then I thought that the segment following the match was like really strong. That was probably my favorite part of the whole show, was that bit.
Yeah, Dark Order entering from the face tunnel was something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did not expect that. And yeah, the proposal gone wrong was probably one of my more favorite parts of the night. Seeing the Cowboys come out to start dancing, and Anna Jay and Uno and Grayson just be like, no, no, pushing them back into the tunnel. Loved it. Really had fun.
I thought that was really great. And like I said, that I can't get up. That ending sequence looked really great. I was really hoping that they would then be a thing, but
there's more story to tell. We're gonna find out maybe if Hangman has. Maybe he's going to get himself a psychologist or a psychiatrist and work through his team issues.
Yeah, as Jim Ross has made no bones about, that boy has problems.
Yes, of all people, Jim Ross is the one pointing out problems.
Yeah, alcohol-based problems.
That's right. Well, and then we saw the big return, the big segment. Tim, he's back. It's Sting! He's back again.
Like, who are you talking about?
Yeah, he's back again. And listen, one thing I love is that he comes out and congratulates Darby Allin on a title he won months ago.
It's so weird. I was like, okay, so this is Surfer Sting in edgy Sting makeup, and it's weirding me out.
Bro.
Like, it's just, what's he doing?
And I typed out, I was ready for Sting to get upset with Taz and for this to get somewhere. And then I remembered, wait a minute, in WCW they did this with Sting when they brought him back after being the Surfer, right? They put him in the rafters. He didn't say a word. He would show up and beat people up and not say anything for months. And then eventually we got to Hogan and Sting at Starrcade 97, and the match sucked. But the point was, the build was incredible. But Sting isn't going for the AEW title in this story.
No, he just sees himself in Darby for obvious reasons.
So instead, today they announced at AEW Revolution, there will be a street fight between Ricky Starks and Brian Cage and Sting and the TNT champion Darby Allin.
Oh, that's what they meant. Okay, that makes sense.
I assume a cinematic tag team match.
Yeah, which is the right way to do this. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe some minivan action.
Yeah, I'm into it. I look forward to that. It'll be good.
It'll be fun. Speaking of Revolution, there was a little thing that happened today earlier on AEW's YouTube channel. They uploaded a new banner that said that Revolution was on March the 7th instead of February 27th. Then they took it down, and then they put up a Dynamite banner, and they've since taken that down. So I don't know when Revolution is. Could be March 7th, could be February 27th. Who knows? It feels like because of the way that they book, this week being a little off, I think they were just kind of trying to stretch out some stories, because I think they are trying to move Revolution another week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think about the Inner Circle three-way?
Didn't play out how we said it had to play out for it to not be dumb.
What did we say, just for the new friends listening?
Proud and Powerful had to win, and they didn't. No, I didn't like it. I like the Jericho memes that followed. So silver lining on that.
The little things.
It also just felt really weirdly self-important for it to be the main event. It just didn't, I don't know. Like when they announced that it was, I was like, it doesn't, to me, feel like main event vibes, but whatever.
Here's what I was marinating on that, because I agree with you. We said it on our shows. We said it on PW Unlimited, on Weekly Draw. We said Proud and Powerful has to win this. They are the tag team.
Yeah.
But in the story of things, Sammy Guevara is the one who knows. He's the one who sees that all of this stuff is happening, that MJF is controlling in the background, that he's creating all this stuff, and they're going to cast Sammy out, and then an MJF is going to take control. It's going to be one of those things where Sammy's going to figure it out. It's going to be a big well-to-do, and then they'll do a Sex God reunion. They'll think Jericho turns face, but Jericho's a trash human being. So next thing you know, it'll be like the Inner Circle goes after, or whatever's left of the Inner Circle goes after MJF. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to kind of the dissolution of them then. Like, I think there's a lot, like, having Santana and Ortiz actually be a tag team on their own rights will be good. I think that'd be a good injection into that division in AEW. Sammy Guevara as a singles competitor, I think, would be a lot stronger. Same with Jake Hager.
Oof,
And,
Jake Hager.
You got MJF, Chris Jericho working towards a longer program. So
Yeah, and the Sammy Hagar pop up was really funny. I do admit.
It's funny. It's good time.
Good laugh. And yeah, you know what? I would love Proud and Powerful to just be like, nah, forget this. Go back to Impact, become LAX, and regain the Impact Tag Team Championships.
That'd be cool too.
Completely disregarding everything we just said about Private Party. Just forget it. Just LAX, and they're just like, okay, you go do that.
That's the thing. Private Party had a really good match on Impact. This 6-man tag this week, it underwhelmed me. I think I had really high expectations for Top Flight them, but
I enjoyed it. I think it got a little, just like the 3-way at the end. I think the match went too fast, got away from them, so they started having some issues keeping up with the timing and keeping up with the spots, as they called them. And then JR going into break, just being like grumpy JR, I don't give a damn, and just letting it show. I was kind of
that was his like, who's the legal man? It's like, does it even matter?
Yeah, who gives a shit, Connie?
Broken Jim Ross.
Oh, that dumb man. But yeah, the show overall, I mean, listen, it was discombobulated. That's probably the word I can use best for it. It was lackluster. It was okay at best. There was nothing amazing. The inauguration was on TV, so maybe they kind of decided we can take it easy for a week, because it's been 3 weeks now of nothing but like shitty political news.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, now we can ramp things up because people are going to pay hopefully less attention to politics moving forward, at least for the next 100 days.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But like, I don't like the Peter Avalon match went like way longer than I expected it to.
Yeah, they did 10 minutes.
And it still doesn't make sense why it happened, really. Jade,
because we got to put over the go big show go
the
show
Snoop
big.
rap. The Snoop rap persists. It's still
yes, of course.
Steam. Now worse than ever. They've edited it in a real janky ass way.
Cody's best friend Snoop. He wants everyone to know that he is best friends with Snoop, and that when the next round of toys come out, instead of any women getting a toy, it's going to be
Snoop Dogg.
Cody and Snoop.
Yeah, terrible.
It'll be a joint pack.
And then the women's match was just like,
hey, you see what I said there? It's a joint pack. Because that's
Snoop Dogg smokes weed.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's a boring brand.
We're Canadian. It works for us.
I'm just tired. Everyone smokes weed, man. Stop it. It's not an identity.
You know what people don't all do? They don't leave us tip jar love, but they can over at streamlabs.com/Tim and Joel Pod. Keep going.
And then the women's match. They had the Miro segment they quickly ushered in. They're just like, this is the update. Chuck Taylor. He's my butler. Look at him be a butler.
Yeah, 4 minutes collectively for the women. And I think people have noticed that I've kind of stopped shitting all over the women's division in AEW because, listen, until something gets fixed, I'm not going to keep doing this. It's 9:30 every week. You know what to, and there's a pro and a con to that. For those who are like super into women's wrestling and don't care about anything else on the card, great. Now I know 9:30 is when I show up, and then I can tune right out. On the other hand, there should be absolutely more than just one match on the card featuring the women. And I get that this past week's show, they had to do it on short notice with Hirsch and Penelope Ford because of what went on with Nyla Rose and being exposed as someone who contracted COVID-19, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But, like, come on, man. Put a women's tag team match on somewhere. Do something. Just
even the spot picking for that was, like, pretty clunky. Like, that weird dive to the outside was like, what did this have to, like, even Jim Ross has criticized how much this is happening in AEW, and it's happening a lot. Like, every single show there's like feels like 13 topes that get announced, and it's just like, can we just stay in the ring for one match?
Yeah, I get it. And actually, someone in the chat mentions that they hope the Knockouts champions show up on Dynamite. I was going to say, have the Knockouts tag champions face Diamante and Ivelisse, who won that AEW World Tag Team Cup or whatever. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I think there's room for the tags. Yeah.
Have them rebrand as LAX.
Yeah.
Have them become the LAX that goes after the Knockouts Tag Team Championships.
there's room for the women's tag stuff to cross over. The singles competition, what they don't need is another company's women's title, because again, we keep saying it, the NWA women's title is much more interesting in terms of narrative than anything in AEW's like championship circle right now. So
Yeah, so moving forward, AEW's got a lot of holes to plug, and they have to figure out what their women's division should look like, because Kenny Omega can't keep passing the blame to Brandy, who then passes the blame to Tony, who then passes the blame to Cody, who then passes the blame to the Bucks, who then passes it back to Kenny, and then Kenny says, no, I just want it to be better. And it's like, well, you want it to be better, then it's got to get better.
Didn't today he say that they should have their whole own show?
The Eliminator tournament might just be their own show. We'll find out if it's going to be on YouTube.
Having tournaments.
It'll be fine. I'm interested as to why it's going to be US and Japanese only, because I saw the flags. Maybe they'll actually open it up to other people from other countries. I don't know what the feeling is there, or how they're working. They could be bringing in Japanese talent and having them quarantine. That's perfectly logical. They could tape it all and then put it on YouTube one by one. I get it.
The only thing, like, someone pointed this out for me, and like, the tournament would be fine if they didn't also have these rankings. Like, someone on Twitter posted this, and it's like, why do this at all if you're just going to keep having these tournaments, battle royals, etc. for number one contendership? Like, and like, I don't care so much about the ranking. Like, it's not something I'm passionate about. It doesn't add or detract anything from me. It's just like, make a decision on it. Have it matter or don't have it at all. Yeah.
Well, we can go on about that for all of eternity until they fix it. So instead, let's talk about NXT. You were watching NXT. Good show. A few holes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Fight Pit.
Fight Pit was great. I love Fight Pit. Did it live up to my very high expectations? Not quite. I think I preferred Riddle versus Thatcher in the Fight Pit over this one. But this was great. I really loved the way that they started it. Like, the blocking for the match was really great. Like, they had so much time spent up above the ring before they ever even got in. And then the finish was like, mwah, chef's kiss. So good. So good.
Yeah. Thatcher winning with the stretch muffler was something I did not expect, especially when they call it modified. And really the modifier was that Ciampa's leg was like stuck in between the steel beam, the stanchion, which was nice. And it looked really gnarly. I agree. It was a great match. It was a little bit brutal. Thatcher still needs to be more than the Fight Pit.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we said it. He was 7-7 going into this Fight Pit since the last Fight Pit. So he had literally a 50-50 record. And this makes him above 500, sure. But like going into it, people were like, why should I care about Timothy Thatcher? And that's why. Because he didn't get any major victories in any major matches going into Fight Pit.
Yeah. Well, and like now he's got Ciampa's respect, and they're going to do their thing, which I think is a good direction. Like, Ciampa's on his crusade to, do the Undertaker's work. Which is a good angle when it's a fictional angle. Timothy, if we're talking like grizzled young vets, these two guys look more grizzled than those guys. So like, maybe we do that at the end.
Yeah. And you know what? We're not gonna ruin it for anyone, because now it's out there. Ciampa and Thatcher are a team now, and they will be on 205 Live this coming week in first round action in the Dusty Classic. They'll be taking on Daivari and Tony Nese, they're replacing Desmond Troy, or was it? Yeah, Desmond Troy and Ashanti the Adonis. I'm having trouble with names today. Troy and Adonis. They were both taken out by Karrion Kross on Wednesday night. So Ciampa and Thatcher are a team now. They're best friends, best pals, best buds going into the Dusty Classic. By the way, here was the hole in the Dusty Classic that I kept pointing out. They're not tag matches. They're matches with 4 people to move on single stories. Because Ruff and Kushida, they beat Gargano in theory, and the whole point here is that Kushida wants to face Gargano for the North American Championship. Leon Ruff is still very much cast aside.
Yeah, which is a shame.
It is a shame.
Great match, though. Great match. That was a great match.
Yes, it was. It was a great hot open. I was very impressed.
They do that so consistently, where like the match to open NXT is like very, very strong, and it's been like week after week I'm there, and it gets me amped for the whole show. And I find that like their shows just run a little bit smoother because of that. AEW does it like 75% of the time. NXT does it like 100% of the time.
Yeah, and so we'll see where this kind of goes forward. We talked about it on PW Unlimited that this match could have been a double countout or a double disqualification, whatever, because Grizzled Young Veterans are the next team to face the winners of that Gargano Theory, Ruff, and Kushida match. And obviously it's going to be Ruff, Kushida versus Grizzled Young Veterans, which is great. Grizzled Young Veterans are going to win.
Yeah.
Gargano's probably going to get involved and cost Kushida the match. That'll be that, and then we'll move on to the North American title scene. On the other hand, when they do tag team right, Lucha House Party defeats Imperium somehow.
Which, yeah, I had no faith in, so it is kind of good to see. It's. I didn't have a whole lot of faith in it, which is no surprise because, like you said, like half of these matches are singles competition matches. Like they're setting them up for story.
So the only thing that really made sense after you and I talked about Imperium moving forward in this tag team tournament was Alexander Wolf showing up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Wolf, who's been on the NXT UK, apparently, got in a boat and rode his way to Florida, which is great. Didn't have to quarantine, I guess. But now the question persists. Is Alexander Wolf taking them back to the UK, or is he bringing other people with him from the UK?
Hard to say. My gut instinct says maybe they're going back to the UK because I feel like there's more room for them there. But
I have a feeling after the matches that Walter has had, and he's had great ones, but they've been against undersized opponents in the UK, I think Walter's coming for vacation in Florida.
I would love that. Like it'd be good to have like some larger, strong factions go at it again. I think that Imperium coming back here would be choice.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this much. My Dusty Men's bracket broke over that Lucha House Party match, but it will recover because I didn't have them going that far. And instead, we have the Women's Dusty Cup.
Yeah.
Team Ninja, Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter take on and defeat Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. Tim, I told you so.
Yeah, you did.
But again, it's another match to move a single story.
Yeah.
Because Team Ninja's in it to be a tag team, but Storm and Martinez were always just two singles trying to get their way to the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, and then EO shows up, and of course. And
there you go.
We had talked about this, and I had said, like, this is an opportunity for them to build Team Ninja as a team. So, like, they're going to go and get their push so that eventually they can become singles competitors on their own, right? Because that's what tag teams are for in NXT, is to build singles competitors, to give them a profile. But, like, whatever. Like, it works. They're a real team for now. And it makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if they go on and win the whole thing. They got a good shot at it, especially after the very memeable finish.
Yeah, I have it written in my notes. Casey's whatever the F was that finisher, and all one word, and the F is spelled out, but I don't swear on this channel because I don't want to get us in trouble.
I think I called it the like wonderful whirling ass splash or something. Like she just, yeah. I mean, that would kind of hurt if she weighed more than like 80 pounds. But like it's someone's butt coming like from 10 feet in the air into your spine. That wouldn't be fun.
So Tom Stubb from PWT Talks NXT, we on PW Torch, we go back and forth a lot. And he actually had the perfect explanation for it. And that was, we don't know how this move is going to be landed. And Tony was just like, how am I going to take this? And Casey was like, and so instead Tony was like, well, I have more meat on my backside, just land on my butt. And you're small and bony, it's probably not going to hurt nearly as much.
I think it was a botch on Casey's part, though. Like, I expected to finish as a normal splash.
Yeah, it felt awkward. And
like,
people were freaking out over it.
There's no way the goal is to land with your ass on your opponent. That's just, like, dangerous.
You tell that to Ricochet in his 630.
Oh, it's so good, though. Yeah.
I'm being asked in the chat about Brian Alvarez saying on his podcast that Casey and Caden were supposed to start a heel turn with the promo they gave after they won the match, where they were kind of obnoxious, kind of middle school girls, super excited about the win. I don't necessarily see it going that way yet. I see where it could be a heel turn down the road, but for now, I think people are very much behind Casey and Caden being like very relatable people who just happen to do really amazing ninja things.
Yeah, they can't do it now anyway, even if they wanted to with that finish. Like it's been
That's the other
spread all
thing.
over the place. Like they're too
Yeah.
over.
If you're doing really, really massive, cool, flippy finishes, you're probably not a bad guy. You're not a heel.
And she did a few wild like flipping moves through that match that landed flush that were really cool. So
Yeah, and at the same time, I saw her at the Royal Rumble in Phoenix when she showed up and like climbed the turnbuckle to save herself in the match, and I was like blown away. She
yeah,
has an incredible like amount of strength and dexterity and just balance. It's incredible. She has
yeah,
a lot of potential. They need to figure out what she is, other
yeah.
than just like this girl who can climb anything she wants. By the way, for anyone who was asking about Bayley being at the Performance Center and the whole Triple H put me in the Dusty Cup, no, she was not there for a Dusty Cup appearance. She was there to work the Superstar Spectacle tapings, which, by the way, air this Tuesday on WWE Network. Superstar Spectacle is the Indian special with all this. Yeah. So speaking of the Dusty Cup for women, WWE actually announced the NXT channels all announced the signings of Elena Black, Priscilla Kelly, and Lacey Ryan, and they're going by their new names. Lacey is now Zoe Stark. Elena Black is now Cora Jade. Priscilla Kelly is now Gigi Dolan. And so let me give you this real quick from Fightful Select. WWE announced the signings of Elena Black, Priscilla Kelly, and Lacey Ryan, but the wheels have been in motion since at least the last crop of signings happened. Fightful learned in early November that WWE already had interest in the three women and had been aggressively pursuing free agents and finding out contract statuses. WWE sources say Elena Black was almost a guarantee to get signed after her first tryout, as was Lacey Ryan, and that they'd already had their eyes on Priscilla Kelly for quite some time. All three will be in the Dusty Cup, as we know now. Elena Black, by the way, is like 19 years old. And I'm a big fan of Gigi Dolan as a name, by the way.
That is a good name. That's actually a really good name.
People who are shitting on it, they kind of hit to understand that some of it's actually very obvious.
What's the problem? It's a name.
Okay, so you know that Darby Allin, part of his name is for Gigi Allen.
Ew.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
God, I didn't think I could. I don't like Darby Allin at all, man.
Well, you're going to blow your mind a little bit more. Hold on, because now Priscilla Kelly and Darby Allin used to be an item. They were married.
Okay. I think
Gigi Allen, Gigi Dolan. So she took the other half of Gigi Allen.
I don't care.
And then Dolan is Gaelic for dark or insidious, and that's Priscilla Kelly. It's sense. Fine.
That's fine. I don't care.
I'm a fan. I like it. So I'll give you the updated. I'll give you the updated teams for the Dusty Cup. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, The Way, are going to take on Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade. You got Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon taking on Marina Shafir and Zoe Stark. That's exciting and a bit of a different pairing for me that I didn't expect. Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea, which you and I talked about. We talked about that possibly being a pairing. Taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, which didn't expect. And then Team Ninja obviously defeated Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. Cool. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's good. Like I saw the new faces in the bracket, and I was like, "Oh, where are these people?" And I figured you'd tell
me. You can see on my Twitter all of the brackets for both cups and what I thought would happen and who I thought would win and blah 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 blah. So it'll be fun. Keep up with it.
Oh, one thing.
Yes.
I look at Twitter sometimes, and I understand maybe 50% of what I look at, but I vaguely recall seeing the name Elena Black versus one Joey Janela, and I don't know if that was future dated or something in the past.
I don't think it was expected for Joey to have done that.
Interesting.
It was a work. It was fully a work. They are friends.
I'm just a
Elena. So yeah, if you go back. So I am Twitter friendly with Randy Lauren, who is now Skylar Story in WWE, who is involved with Joey Janela. They're a couple. So Skylar Story and Joey Janela are a couple. On her Instagram, she and Elena were hanging out doing merch stuff at the last GCW show on New Year's Eve, which is where Joey Janela was performing. So yes, they're all friends. It's a thing. It's a work, but unfortunately, he kind of just jumped the gun because Black just got signed by WWE, and Janela is not showing up in WWE anytime soon.
No, I don't want him there. He's good. He's good elsewhere.
We got 10 minutes to go, and then we got to go play Among Us over on twitch.tv
Okay.
/ Fightful Gaming. So let's talk about SmackDown. Ding dong, hello.
Good stuff. Great stuff.
Excellent stuff.
Good lead. Looking forward to it. Another talk show. Yes, another talk show. But at least this one has a cool aesthetic, which is more than can be said about like literally any other talk show on WWE.
Every time we're in a similar space from now on, you and me, Tim, I'm going to ask you to knock on the door.
That's fair.
It's the only way I know who you are.
It's the right thing to do.
I love the Sally Jesse Raphael look on Bailey.
Yeah,
I enjoy that there's going to be the obstacle course tomorrow night on SmackDown. Who do you think is going to win the obstacle course?
The EST of WWE.
I'm being told. Did you know that Bailey copied Britt Baker?
I saw some
with the
some of
sarcasm
that back and forth. Yeah. I saw some of that on Twitter. It was pretty good. I think Bailey responded to Britt at one point.
And Britt said last night on the AEW post show, she was just like, "Oh yeah, I didn't see it live, but I saw it and I love Bailey." So cool. They're all friends. Come on, man. It's wrestling. Everyone's friends unless they're very much not friends.
Look, man, both of them have a talk show. It's like the least thoughtful way to cut promos. There's been hundreds of them by now.
Exactly. Oh, speaking of talk shows, Adam Pearce swerving the big dog.
Yeah, that feels... I'm curious where they take this because Paul Heyman screwed up. That's a Paul Heyman goof.
I have a theory, Tim.
Yeah, what's your theory?
You see, Roman's going to be very upset with the way that Paul Heyman handled Roman's problems.
It's and kept saying contract.
It's handled.
Mm-hmm. No, it was pretty...
Handled. Heyman handled business for another associate. Now, the question is, when will it get so bad that Roman beats the dog crap out of Paul Heyman, and Heyman is left with only one solution to save his own ass, and that is to bring back the other associate. Once Heyman is cast from the island of relevancy, and we can get to the match that nobody wanted when it was Roman the face, now it's Roman the bad guy. And thank you, Mr. Warren Hayes. We love you. We're going to see Roman the bad guy and Brock the badass.
You know what? I actually care now. That'd be pretty.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
It's built well, right? Because I like Paul Heyman. And he's going to get his butt whooped. And he's going to deserve it. Because he didn't do his job very well. But
there you go.
I feel like it's going to be a slow burn. We'll get there. Mm-hmm. But a couple months.
Yeah, and it might even be a much later than WrestleMania thing. It might be a Mania thing. Maybe KO wins the Universal Championship in that last man standing match, somehow piling Roman under a, who knows, maybe he digs out the pitcher's mound at Tropicana Field and puts Roman in it, and then just puts the pitcher's mound, and then it's the Roman Reigns pitching mound on Tropicana Field.
That sounds
And then he
hilarious.
wins the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
And then Zombie Roman comes back. Maybe not. But,
probably not that far.
But I'm here for a world where KO wins the championship and maybe Roman's on the chase again, because right now Roman, he's winning his matches with help and he's winning it with cheating, and it's just eventually it's going to get to a point where people are going to say, all right, it's the same thing over and over again. Find me something different to do.
Yeah, I think that would be a good direction to go, to have KO win, because they're doing this match again, right? And KO, being as good as he is, can carry that title and should carry that title, so I think it'd be more engaging if the head of the table is unseated, right? Like to see what happens as a result of that. So.
Absolutely. And you know what else I'm waiting to see a result from? The Rise of Apollo.
Yeah, it looked good. It's
talking about him with Roman, seeing him sit at the side of the head of the table.
Yeah, I think there's room to expand like Roman's sphere of influence. So I'm glad to see that this is where they're taking it. Because I had thought like it'd be good to see a few other people added in there. I would have assumed it would have been the other Uso, but like we're not quite there yet. So
yeah, and instead, maybe a mean streak is ahead, and maybe a space for Apollo to become the badass at the side of the table. Yeah, the associate at the side of the table, the enforcer at the side of the table.
Say, yeah, like a
yeah,
little
that's the word I was
muscle. Big E looked fucking.
Don't get us in trouble,
I'll
man.
bleep it on the podcast. I have
God.
bleeping technology. Anyway, Big E looked hella good this week in his Ghostbusters sweater on that couch that he brought out somehow.
And the open fridge, that fridge door has to be closed, damn it. I don't care what you say. Daniel Bryan was flipping out backstage watching that. I don't care who you say. But words with E, after their match and then getting to Friday for the Intercontinental Championship, it's a rematch, but it's going to be a really good one because Apollo is now more bona fide mean streak, wanting this title. He's been waiting to sink his teeth into a character. He's not just going to be standing happy to be here, smiling Apollo. It's the start of something bigger, potentially.
Yeah.
Big E's still going to win. Let's face it.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, and if they don't, I'm less on board for it because I don't think Apollo needs it. And I think Big E carrying that title for a while is kind of what's right here. So let's keep it on him, but do the match for sure.
Absolutely. So maybe it's time to pair Apollo directly or peripherally with Roman and the family. That'll be the next move after this Intercontinental Championship match tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Can we talk about how good SmackDown was overall? Just good.
Of course we can.
They're doing a good job. I'm glad to see.
Yes.
There's
Everyone's all
stuff.
excited.
Cesaro came out and explained his absence, and it was perfectly reasonable. I loved that. They had noticed a gap, and they filled it nice and easy. Yeah.
Tim, I don't know if you've ever been to a baseball stadium.
I have.
They are big.
Enormous. It takes forever to get anywhere. That's
right. I don't care if you have access to a cart. It still takes time.
Last season here, before the events, they had switched to like a $5 for any one item thing, but there was one cart in the entire bloody stadium that was selling the $5 items, so it took forever depending on where it was ridiculous. Terrible execution. That. Terrible.
Non-terrible execution, by the way, is liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and leaving us some tip jar love at streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod. And Billy Kay is a national treasure, FYI.
Oh my God. So silly. Mosh pishing. Different in Australia.
Yes. Can confirm, having spent time in Australia, it is mosh pishing. Yes, it is.
And the hard looks on the way down with the weird greaser hand movements.
Oh God. All right. In the interest of time and going to play video games, Sasha Banks versus Reginald? Huh?
WWE's not going to do an intergender match. Something will screw it up.
There you go. And then Carmella versus Sasha at the Rumble by all the looks of it. I'm for it. Why not? Do it. I can have some fun watching that match. They did a great job the first round. So what's another round between friends, right?
Do it up.
And who do you think is going to join the Mysterios? Because I got two names in mind.
I'm reading them. I don't like either of them.
Damian Priest and Aleister Black are my two names.
This is the most boring way to introduce them.
I want Damian Priest and Aleister Black just being a tag team instead.
That works for me. I'm fine with that. Just leave the Mysterios out of it.
Just headbanging.
Also, don't let Dominic on commentary again. I didn't care for that.
Watching what's his face, Baron Corbin just trash talk Dominic while he's wrestling his dad. That was what I was here for.
Watching him get his ass shoved down, that was delightful. That was a great shove. Once again, Baron Corbin, better than you all think.
If WWE had trios titles, I would want to see Aleister Black, Damian Priest, and Dominic in a three-way, so that I could just see Black and Priest rocking out to the darkest, heaviest of metal, and Dom just being like, guys, can we change the channel? Can we listen to something?
John Mayer. I want to listen to John Mayer.
Or just be like, guys, there's the latest Kanye. Can we listen to Kanye or something? And then Black and Priest just being like, get the hell out. Go change in the hallway.
I gotta update it for the current generation. New John Mayer is Shawn Mendes. So
that's too Canadian for me.
Oh man, yeah, he's doing okay. He's big in America. One of the Harry Styles. That's a guy.
Okay. Well, my Harry Styles are on, and I think we figured out how to finish off this night. Tim, we did it. Another week of wrestling down. Where can the kids find you?
Kids can find me at Timstone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter. Come make me enjoy Twitter.
Yes, please go follow Tim. He is a wonderful, wonderful friend and a wonderful follow. So go do it, would you? And you can also follow us over at Tim and Joel Pod. You can find us at www.timandjoelpod.com or youtube.com/timandjoelpod. You can find me over at Joel Pearl on all forms of social media, JoelPearl. And you can usually find me playing video games over at twitch.tv/FightfulGaming this Saturday, 2 p.m. And literally right now, we're about to go and do this thing, 9 p.m. Eastern, doing the thing. And so that means that friends, with your dogs and your neighbors and your uncles, aunts, moms, dads, their friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, friends, telling them to listen to us, that would be great. I think you should listen to us and tell your friends to listen to us. And until then, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, enjoy your wrestling and have a great week.